these wars make no sense, that they are not for American security. We need the Ron Paul Institute. We need our favorite Judge Napolitano. Thank you very much. It really worked, because I said that's a meeting I want to do everything I can to make. So it is a little bit rushed today.
Hey, T-Sippers. Hey.
But an honor to be here. And
Come on in.
really
I was trying to charge up this phone.
A special delight to be at a conference whose title is Blueprint Peace.
Y'all made me fall. Well, y'all ain't make me, Lord. Stop.
Much about peace.
I fell asleep. What time? It was early in the morning.
Strangely enough,
early.
Other than on the Judge's
in the
show.
Early morning hours.
And from the Ron Paul Institute.
I passed out.
Today, I was looking at all of the banner headlines about the failure yesterday in Alaska. Failure because we didn't launch World War III.
Just now put something in my mouth because I did not want to hear the T-Sippers. Been researching. All of this stuff has happened. So, AunTeaFee, what is talking in the back? Well, listen.
Which, of course, is...
let me stop it.
Hawkish by the moment and...
but who is this? Jeffrey Sacr. He is talking about not gonna sue me, turn the U.S. into its own war machine, and
it's not so complicated.
He wants to vote. It's getting ugly. So let me cut him off so y'all can see what this is. It's a lot going on at the same time. You see, they ain't been saying nothing about them Epstein files. Hey, Cynthia, have y'all paid attention to that? Yeah. Every time I turn around, something is going on in the U.S., in foreign countries, and all of that. So stay woke. I've been trying to warn my T-Sippers to stay woke. I've been trying to tell y'all to stay woke. So listen. 3 diplomats. Qatar. Tiwas. And I don't, listen, I don't speak their language. So if I ain't pronouncing it right, you pronounce it right on your end. I don't need no help. I don't have time for all of that there. You understand? I don't have time for that. We in a crisis. Now 3 of them on their way to meet with old sick Trump, dumb Trump. Oh Lord, he looks sick. I don't know what he had planned, cause y'all remember he just signed over Utah to Qatar to build an Air Force base, right? Where Charlie was assassinated in Utah. I said, oh, he done sacrifice. I've been telling y'all there was a sacrifice going on because Charlie wasn't going along with it, and he needed his voice to travel. He needed his voice over in them foreign lands. See that Jerry Cretchett had been over there. Yeah. But you see who was over there early in the late hour. See, old boy was supposed to be over there. But he started denying, not gonna sue me. Right? I just need to pay attention. So he told him to lead that war along with Iran. Trump didn't want to hear it. Finding out that one of these, you're going to see it, Trump been warned all over the place. Well, do y'all remember, before I go in, yeah, so they was in a car wreck, they say. They say it's a mystery. I'm sure it is. They was on their way to meet with Trump at the plea deal. Yeah. Do y'all remember last week or the week before when I showed y'all one of them guys over there was blackmailing Trump? T-Sippers, do y'all remember that? That little fat guy showed Trump something. And Trump started freaking trying to grab the paper. Do y'all remember that? And let me help you. It's just bizarre. It's just bizarre how everybody is somehow tied with Trump. And then something pop off. He's a common denominator. Hold on. Let's go. See if y'all remember. Y'all remember the little fat guy right there? He showed him them pieces of paper. And Trump started grabbing them papers. Like, give me that, give me that.
This is Donald Trump at the royal court shaking hands like usual. But then this guy shows up and completely steals the show. He grabs Trump's hand and doesn't let go to show that he is in complete control of this situation. And as you can see, what he says here completely rattles the president. And then suddenly,
He like,
out
what?
of nowhere, he pulls a stack of pictures out of his pocket. He says a few words here, seemingly savoring this moment, and everybody in the back is wondering what the hell is going on. He shows the images to the president and the prince, and Trump immediately wants to take these pictures away from him. And then the mystery man and the prince share a laugh while Trump is just staring in disbelief. He tucks what he has away in his pocket and then snatches the other stack of papers from his hands. But he just
Now, it's ironic that Trump is over there right now.
Copies. It looks like Trump is scrambling to explain himself, but they're obviously not buying it.
Now, we saw this happen.
This guy is, or if you know how to read
Then we saw.
it'd be pretty sweet if you could decipher what they're saying in this video.
Then we saw Trump.
Okay, you need to see this clip.
Signed over.
This is Donald Trump at the royal court shaking hands like usual.
To allow them to build in Utah. Y'all hit the like button. I wouldn't doubt it. They sacrifice people all the time. Charlie White too.
As you can see, what he says here completely rattles.
Are you saying Charlie White was a part of the sacrifice, or they will sacrifice her? What are you saying, Echo 805?
Everybody in the back is wondering what the hell is going on. Shows the images to the president and the prince, and Trump
check out the timing of all of this, y'all.
Away from him. And then the mystery man and the prince share a laugh while Trump is just staring in disbelief.
He's saying, "Yeah, that's you."
He has away in his pocket. And
yeah, that's you.
The other stack of papers from his hands, but he just laughs it off because I'm pretty sure he has his own copies. It looks like Trump is scrambling to explain
she
himself.
She was sent to marry. Oh yeah, I've said that. Yeah. She was staged. Mm-hmm.
Anybody
just
knows
like
who this guy is, or if you know how to read lips.
Just like Ivanka was sent to marry Jared, who they said was compromised. Okay, so y'all remember that. Hold that, park there. Now we know that Trump gave permission for Qatar to build in Utah last week. Hold on. Then I think this popped up yesterday, and I just didn't have a time to play it. Hold on. And I said, ooh. Ooh. Hold on. Was it this one?
If this is true,
Okay, yeah.
The nation of Qatar, unfortunately, has historically been a funder of terrorism at a very high level.
then why the hell would you allow this?
Today, we're announcing we're signing a letter of acceptance to build a Qatari Emiri Air Force facility at the Mountain Home Air Base in Idaho.
Wait, now I get it. He's corrupt to his core. If this is true,
The nation of Qatar, unfortunately, has historically been a funder of terrorism at a very high level.
then why the hell would you allow this?
Today, we're announcing we're signing a letter of acceptance to build a Qatari Emiri Air Force facility at the Mountain Home Air Base in Idaho.
Wait, now I...
Why? Yeah, what's going on? What's really happening? And then we wake up. Okay. Well, now what? 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 Wait a minute. What is this guy talking about?
But China will not allow you to fire the second shot. China will never allow the United States to launch a war against China, conventional or nuclear, without suffering devastating consequences. If you have not watched the Victory Day parade in Beijing on September the 3rd, one of the weapons China demonstrated, we call it 61, because it can contain 60 nuclear warheads plus one hydrogen bomb. Now, in the world of today, let me tell you, which country has hydrogen bomb? China is the only country with hydrogen bomb. And that ICBM can cover every corner of the world in less than 20 minutes and destroy any target in any corner of the world without any possibility of being intercepted. I hope Washington has learned the lesson. If you want to have war, you will get war. If you want to destroy China, you will be destroyed.
Is he threatening us? Was that a threat? Is he playing with China like that?
China's policy is very clear. China will not fire the first shot, but China will not allow you to fire the second shot. China will never allow the United States to launch a war against China, conventional or nuclear, without suffering devastating consequences. If you have not watched the Victory Day parade in Beijing on September the 3rd, one of the weapons China demonstrated, we call it 61, because it can contain 60 nuclear warheads plus one hydrogen bomb. Now, in the world of today, let me tell you, which country has hydrogen bomb? China is the only country with hydrogen bomb. And that ICBM can cover every corner of the world in less than 20 minutes and destroy any target in any corner of the world without any possibility of being intercepted. I hope Washington has learned the lesson. If you want to have war, you will get war. If you want to destroy China, you will be destroyed. If you want to impose nuclear war on China, you will be wiped out by nuclear war. This is very serious. China's policy is very clear. China will not fire the first shot, but China will not allow you to fire the second shot. China will never allow the United States to launch a war against China, conventional or nuclear, without suffering devastating consequences. If you have not watched the Victory Day parade in Beijing on September the 3rd, one of the weapons China demonstrated. We call it 61 because it can contain 60 nuclear warheads plus 1 hydrogen bomb. Now, in the world of today, let me tell you, which country has hydrogen bomb? China is the only country with hydrogen bomb. And that ICBM can cover every corner of the world in less than 20 minutes and destroy any target in any corner of the world without any possibility of being intercepted. I hope Washington has learned the lesson. If you want to have war, you will get war. If you want to destroy China, you will be destroyed. If you want to impose nuclear war on China, you will be wiped out by nuclear war. This is very serious. China's policy is very clear. China will not fire the first shot, but China will not allow you to fire the second shot. China will never allow the United States to launch a war against China, conventional or nuclear, without suffering devastating consequences. If you have not watched the Victory Day parade in Beijing on September the 3rd, one of the weapons China demonstrated, we call it 61 because it can contain 60 nuclear warheads plus 1 hydrogen bomb. Now, in the world of today, let me tell you, which country has hydrogen bomb? China is the only country with hydrogen bomb. And that ICBM can cover every corner of the world in less than 20 minutes and destroy any target in any corner of the world without any possibility of being intercepted. I hope Washington has learned the lesson. If you want to have war, you will get war.
What lesson?
If you want to destroy
What
China,
lesson?
you will be destroyed. If you
When he
want
said,
to
I hope they
impose
have
nuclear
learned the
war
lesson,
on
what
China,
lesson?
you will be wiped out by nuclear war. This is very serious. China's policy is very clear. China will not fire the first shot, but China will not allow you to fire the second shot. China will never allow the United States to launch a war against China, conventional or nuclear, without suffering devastating consequences. If you have not watched the Victory Day parade in Beijing on September the 3rd, one of the weapons China demonstrated, we call it 61 because it can contain 60 nuclear warheads plus 1 hydrogen bomb. Now, in the world of today, let me tell you, which country has hydrogen bomb?
A hydrogen bomb.
China is the only country with hydrogen bomb. And that ICBM can cover every corner of the world
Every
in less
corner
than
of the
20
world.
minutes and destroy any target in any corner of the world without any possibility of being intercepted.
Oh my God. I'm trying to cover all of what I got over here before I go over there. And I know I'm gonna miss something. But I gotta go over there. Hold on. Now what is this? Hold on.
Rome is going to fall back down. You know that Rome doesn't belong to Italy. It's a different.
Oh no, I'm gonna talk about him later. I was planning on talking about him last night, and I got on Farrakhan. But yeah, let's just listen to a little. But I got him in the.
But you know that the city of Caesarea in Israel doesn't belong to Israel. It belongs to the Rothschilds. There's so much things going on in history that people very soon are going to wake up and see the truth. Now I can tell you jaws are going to be down because 99% of what you know is not the truth. The truth has been hidden over your head.
Fact.
You have to watch The Matrix a few days ago to see what happened.
See, in all this time, we thought, well, I don't know everybody, but a lot of people thought that what was most hidden was about black people and our culture and our success. And, you know, biblically, where it all started. You know, so I can only speak for my race. And for the most part, we thought that we were the most rewritten, omitted, you know. But I'm finding that a lot of rewriting, a lot of history has been tainted and altered. So that means that, you know, that old book, the miseducation of a black man, it's just a miseducation of the United States. Everything has been altered for greed and control. It's messed up. I ain't gonna even lie. It's messed all the way up.
Genius! The truth that is over our face, we don't see nothing. You think you see the truth, you don't see nothing. Rome is the Egypt, or I should say the future Egypt. Who is this government? Who is this kingdom that is called Romi? It's a group of men that you don't even know who they are. Most people don't even know who they are. And this is a group of men that got together many years ago with one agenda that is called a new world order. Every government in the world has a secret government behind it that runs the show. If you think that the president, the prime minister, the thing they're doing is their puppets. They control armies, nations, governments, all the money in the world, all the richest families in the world, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, and anyone that somehow made money within a very short span of time has to be part of it. And you think that Mike Zuckerberg owns Facebook? He's a puppet. Facebook was created for their manipulation. Same with YouTube, same thing with WhatsApp and Instagram and Netflix and everything. World War I was designed by them. World War II, designed by them. Federal Reserve, which people think belongs to the American government. Doesn't belong to the government even. It's a private organization. NASA.
Private
CIA,
organization.
The assassination of JFK, who was the first one who ever talked about it, got a bullet in his hand. Needless to say, the attack on the Twin Towers, it wasn't Bin Laden. All one big agenda, because they needed to go to Afghanistan. You know why? They put pipes. All one big show. We've been fooled, and millions of Americans are cheering. We're going to a war against terror. Ah, you've been fooled. And you think it's different in Israel? You know that Israel was built by the Freemasons, by the way, by the Zionists. There's nothing here kosher. Who approved the Declaration of Israel? The United Nations, of course. An organization of peace and unity without all. It's a terror organization built by the New World Order. All the founders of the country of Israel are Freemasons. Rome is going to fall back down.
Okay.
Rome doesn't belong to the
And do I have it set up? Do I have it set up to do research with the rabbi? Absolutely. Absolutely. It was supposed to be yesterday, but so much happened yesterday that I just didn't get a chance to. But right now, I'm zeroing in on who is telling the truth. That's what I'm on. So I'll be back with him. So let me get on over to what happened last night. Oh my goodness. Now we have seen what I got it in. Y'all got my likes up? It's almost 500 people in here. Did y'all double tap the screen? Double tap the screen. Hit the like button. Oh, I liked him too. That's who picture this is. He gave a warning. He said he warned.
I can say about the meeting with President Trump, which I think was a very important meeting, is that the Arab and Muslim countries made very clear to the president the danger of annexation of any type in the West Bank and the risk that poses not just to the potential of peace in Gaza, but also to any sustainable peace at all. And I feel confident that President Trump understood the position of the Arab and Muslim countries, and I think the president in the US understands very well the risks and dangers of
He's setting us up. I told y'all he was an enemy of the United States.
So what I can say about the meeting with President Trump, which I think was a very important meeting, is that the Arab and Muslim countries made very clear to the president the danger of annexation of any type in the West Bank and the risk that poses not just to the potential of peace in Gaza, but also to any sustainable peace at all. And I feel confident that President Trump understood the position of the Arab and Muslim countries, and I think the president in the US understands very well the risks and dangers of annexation in the West.
And then we wake up to oh Lord, what is this? I can't watch it right now, but I will watch it.
No, just because I don't believe in.
I will watch it. Okay, so last night, these three gentlemen, well, I call them gentlemen, I don't know their story, were on their way to celebrate with Trump. And they were killed. The diplomats killed in Egypt. Oh, so this one don't talk. Hold on. U.S. President near Egypt City. They was on their way to meet with Trump. And y'all notice that Trump wasn't there. Hold on. For the ones that was with me late or early this morning, 4 day this morning, we was up to like, what, 3, almost 4 o'clock this morning. I got a late start because we was having really good tea yesterday. Almost 4 hours. And so I was late. But early this morning when we was watching, you know, them booing and yeah, try with the ceasefire that they say somebody's supposed to be released today. I don't know. I'm not trusting that not gonna sue me guy, BB. I don't trust him. But I noticed, if we notice, BB wasn't there, nor was Trump. But around that time, these 3 diplomats were unalived or in a car crash. They say it was mysterious. Stay woke, T-Sippers. Let's go. Hit the like button. Them look like bullet holes. You can't tell, but them look like some bullet holes to me. 2 other Qatar officials were injured. Y'all, I just showed y'all why one of them guys was blackmailing Trump, they say. Was it him? It was a little fat round guy. And Trump was trying to pull that paper out of his hand. Trying to explain. Everybody blackmailing everybody. But all of them seem to have everything on Trump. Remember, Trump was trying to deploy troops to Israel, and the general said no. Y'all remember? Last week, this past week. And the generals was like, no, what he's doing. Y'all remember, I was telling y'all that they was having a special meeting. Hold on. There was a special meeting going on, and one of those generals was hollering out and screaming out and was saying that Trump was this, that, and the other. And I said, a secret meeting? I thought the House and Congress and stuff wasn't meeting. I thought they couldn't vote with Arizona. What you mean meeting? And I caught a little of it. I just don't know what video it's on. And then when I went back to show y'all, it was gone. And I showed y'all that it was gone. And then all of this stuff is happening. Y'all better stay woke, baby. The military
It's
ain't.
a great deal for Israel, but it's a great deal for everybody, for Arabs, for Muslims, for everybody, for the world. And as you know, on Monday the hostages come back. They're getting them now. I mean, they're getting them now. They're in some pretty rough places.
Yeah, man, quit lying.
Under earth. They're in some pretty rough places where only a few people know where they are, in some cases. So they're getting them, and they're also getting the bodies, approximately 28 bodies. And some of those bodies are being unearthed right now as we speak. I mean, they're working on it right now as we speak. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy.
When
No,
he mean on earth, like
very happy with it. And I
they
can
were
tell you that
buried.
I saw Israel dancing in the streets, but they were dancing in Qatar on it right now as we speak. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. No, he was very happy with it. And I can tell you that I saw Israel dancing in the streets, but they were dancing in Qatar and Saudi Arabia and UAE and many, many countries. I saw Egypt.
Did he say unearthed? Double tap the screen on your phone. Almost 500 people. We got to get the likes up. I need 200 likes real quick. Hey, Pamela. Did I go back too far? Yeah, I guess I did. Yeah, I'm not buying what's going on. I'm gonna tell you that now.
But it's a great deal for everybody, for Arabs, for Muslims, for everybody, for the world. And as you know, on Monday the hostages come back.
Tomorrow.
They're getting them now. I mean, they're getting them now. They're in some pretty rough places under earth. They're in some pretty rough places where only a few people know where they are. In some cases, so they're getting them, and they're also getting the bodies. Approximately 28 bodies, and some of those bodies are being unearthed right now as we speak. I mean, they're working on it right now as we speak. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy.
So digging them up.
Very happy with it, and I can tell you that I saw Israel dancing in the streets, but they were dancing in Qatar and Saudi Arabia and UAE and many countries. I saw Egypt. They were dancing.
What's going on with his eyes?
Israel. I'll be speaking at the.
Did somebody pop? I mean, was he crying? Did he get an ass whooping? I mean, what's going on with his eyes? Is it me? Hi, Heather. What is that? Is something going on with his eyes? Is he sick? Or did somebody put some hands and feet and stuff on him? What's going on? I don't ever remember seeing all of that right there. And that one look a little purple. Am I tripping, or is it just me? I don't know what's going on. Ooh, AunTeaFee. Why would you make it bigger? I had to make it bigger. I had to say, oh. Y'all, is this Trump? Or is this an imposter? I mean, is that Kennedy? Yeah. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. What in the world is going on? What in the world is going on? Look like either this ain't them or them may have been tortured. What in the world is going on? It ain't this and it ain't that. But these two fellows here don't look like that. Him don't either. So what in the world is going on? Up in here. Up in here. Oh my God. Am I the only one that can see this? Oh my God. But carry on.
Knesset, I think early on, and then I'm also going right now as we speak. I mean, they're working on it right now as we speak. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. No, he was very happy with it. And I can tell you that I saw Israel dancing in the streets, but they were dancing in Qatar and Saudi Arabia and UAE and many, many countries. I saw Egypt. They were dancing. I'll be going to Israel. I'll be speaking at the Knesset, I think, early on. And then I'm also going to Egypt. They were terrific. But all of the countries were great. Indonesia was great. Jordan was great. They were all great. Everybody wants this deal to happen. I think you're going to have tremendous success, and Gaza's going to be rebuilt. And you have some.
And
very
yes, he
wealthy
gonna try to have a
countries, as
Trump
you know,
Tower there.
and it would take a small fraction of their wealth to do that. But and I think they want to do it. And we're also setting up, as you know, a board of peace. It's called the Board of Peace. I don't know if that's the final name, but the word peace is definitely in there. They have asked me if I chair it. We'll make sure things go well.
How confident are you that the ceasefire will hold?
I think it'll hold, yeah. I think it'll hold. They're all tired of the fighting. And this really gives the whole Middle East, this is beyond Gaza. Gaza is very important, but this is beyond Gaza. This is peace in the Middle East. And it is a beautiful thing. You know, it's a term that you and I have been hearing since we were very young, right? And now we have.
Okay, let's move on. I done already said my battery's low. Let's go. Oh wow, none of them talking. Oh, the one that's talking is over here. I think this is the same one.
من هذه الجولة كما فعل في كل مرة، فإننا لن نضمن العودة مجددا لصيغة الصفقات الجزئية ولا لمقترح الأسرى العشرة.
The indictment just a few days ago of the Attorney General of New York, Letitia James. You called this in your book Trump's vengeance agenda.
Before it even happened.
Before it happened,
yes.
You predicted this. You seem like saying I told you so, but this is one of those things that you predicted. You were an Attorney General of the second largest DOJ in the country, second only to the United States DOJ. What does what we're seeing mean for the rule of law in this country?
This is a full-on frontal attack on the rule of law in our country. And, you know, one of the things that we talked about during those 107 days and even before was that the Supreme Court, during the course of the election cycle, made the decision, as you'll recall, that the president would be immune from any of his conduct while in office. So we went into the election with this individual, Donald Trump, knowing that he would essentially be immune from any consequence for misbehavior while in office.
Oh, Lord, come on.
So the Supreme Court basically gave him that. You look at what's happening in terms of the militarization of the streets of America, deploying people, men and women who have been trained to fight our adversaries or to do other important work that is about uplifting the well-being of the American people, being sent to the streets of America like here in Chicago. You look at what's happening in terms of the weaponization of the Department of Justice, to your point, going after Comey, going after the Attorney General of the state of New York, who a previous prosecutor, who I'm told was a conservative Republican, reviewed the evidence and decided that there was not enough facts to charge her with a crime, and she has been indicted. And
Wasting
what we see
time,
is that the
money,
rule
and
of law
resources
very
on
much
bull
protected
crap.
by this president, who thinks that the Department of Justice
He
is his
is
personal
very
lawyer
sick.
and is basically subverting the will of the people around constitutional
Pooling in
safeguards.
blood in his
I
veins.
think that
Hold on,
we
y'all.
also have to recognize that the district court judges, some of whom were even appointed by Trump and Democrats, but Republicans and democratically appointed judges in the district courts are standing up. And I think that is something. Judges in the district courts are standing up. And I think that is something that we should recognize and praise.
Absolutely.
They are saying that where there's
In
an
danger.
they're
That is what Kanye West is
but we also see everyday people and their constitutional rights being trampled, whether it be Fourth, Fifth, or Sixth Amendment rights. So this is a real issue and a serious issue. And the people, I think, are speaking through their vote and their voice to say they're not going to stand for it.
You mentioned the Attorney General, and Trump messaged her, thought he messaged her, but he sent it out to everyone. I'm assuming you saw that, calling for...
Yeah, I hear that he must have DM'd her and didn't realize everybody would see it.
Yeah, everyone was surprised by it, including himself, apparently. But he called for the Comey and the James indictments. Your fellow Californian, Adam Schiff, is on that list. So right now he's of 2 of 3. Do you believe that these are about getting convictions, or is it actually about sending a message to anyone who might speak out against him to make clear to folks that they shouldn't do it because there might be consequences?
I think he has a vengeance campaign, which is, I think, really exposing the petty nature of who he is and his deep level of insecurity, that he feels that he has to use the power of the...
That list. So right now he's of 2 of 3. Do you believe that these are about getting convictions, or is it actually about sending a message to anyone who might speak out against him to make clear to folks that they shouldn't do it because there might be consequences?
I think he has a vengeance campaign, which is, I think, really exposing the petty nature of who he is and his deep level of insecurity, that he feels that he has to use the power of the federal government and the United States Department of Justice to go after people who have disagreed with him, or as prosecutors who have used a combination of the facts and law to prosecute him. From everything I know, Attorney General James based a conviction, or she didn't convict them, but based her charges, which was then resulted in a conviction.
Right.
Based on facts and the law. But he can't take that. He can't take the fact that he's been held accountable, and so he is on a vengeance campaign.
Right.
Have you ever wanted to see your home from space? With this free satellite Earth Maps tool, you can zoom right down to your...
What the DOJ does, and you know this better than I do, is so fundamental to the backbone of the country, right?
Right.
The rule of law versus the
It's
rule of
supposed to
man.
be.
Can Americans trust the criminal justice system right now and what's coming out of the DOJ?
I don't know if we can trust what's coming out of the Department of Justice right now.
Nope.
And that pains me to say that as someone who spent the majority of my career as a prosecutor, where the work of a prosecutor should be to do justice. Many who have worked as U.S. attorneys, worked for the U.S. Department of Justice, talk openly and rightly about the fact that they should do their work without any fear and not in the interest of favor. And that so clearly is not what is...
Come on, y'all. I need 30 likes.
And when you have an administration and individuals who are...
I'm almost an hour in.
The justice system of America in that way, they best understand that this is not only about something that affects the individuals that they're targeting. This affects all of us who believe that, flawed though it may be, that a justice system is actually supposed to be blind in the way that it does its work, not targeting people because of who they are, or for that matter, what they look like.
During your DC events this week, you said that you encourage civil service folks to stay in their jobs.
Yes.
To help, basically, as you put it, to kind of clean up after Trump, whatever that is, and whenever that means. But for the folks in the DOJ, where this vengeance campaign is happening, you see Eric Siebert, who was in Virginia, leaving because of other pressure, lots of other folks, because they can't take it. How can they possibly stick it out? How do they actually do that? What's your advice to them?
Well, like I said that day, I can't pretend to tell them what to do based on what is important to them. But I will speak on behalf of what I believe is important to the country. And if they can stay and stick with it, I would implore them to do it. For the sake of the country. It is important that we have people in these powerful positions who understand rules of ethic, the rule of law. The fact that they should be there working on behalf of the people, not some personal political goal. So I do encourage, and it's not only people in the Department of Justice, people at the FDA, people in the Department of Health and Human Services. People are being pushed out or made to feel as though they can't actually do the job that they ethically know that they should do, and are being pressured in that way to the point that if they can't do the job that they care about, they're thinking about leaving. But then who does that leave? Who's left?
You also said in your book tour over and over that Democrats need to fight fire with fire.
Yes.
Should the next Democratic president change the way they deal with the DOJ? Should they deal with
Okay, so y'all listen. Oh my God. Okay, so he done signed another order. NSPM-7 isn't really about security. It's a modern form of erasing people who have always existed, the Indians. So I saw the other day that he signed something about Christopher Columbus. I just didn't say anything. I was trying to see where he was going with this. And so now he done wrote an order, the same kind of erasure earlier settlers like George Catlin tried to carry out centuries ago. Okay, so hold on, y'all. Y'all, especially you native, the African American people. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, so oh my God. It just bleeped out. Oh my God. And I did not send it to myself. Oh my God. Let me let this phone charge. I can't believe this. Let me move on. Trump is really trying. Now he is removing the indigenous, you know, all of that. The land, the Indians. I gotta let y'all see it for yourself. Let me go on. Let me go on. Trump is, oh my God. So making America great again is this Christopher Columbus type shit, where he is stealing, just like BB did. Jesus, Israel. Just like he did with Israel, he's trying to do that with the U.S. Hold on. Hold on. Because I sent it to myself yesterday. I just didn't say nothing. Too much was going on.
Christopher Columbus obviously discovered the New World in 1492. He was a great Italian explorer. He sailed his 3 ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, across the Atlantic Ocean and landed in what's today the Caribbean. But this is a particularly important holiday for Italian Americans who celebrate the legacy of Christopher Columbus and the innovation and explorer zeal that he represented.
In other words, we're calling it Columbus Day.
Yes. Christopher Columbus obviously discovered the New World in 1492. He was a great Italian explorer. He sailed his 3 ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, across the Atlantic Ocean and landed in what's today the Caribbean. But this is a particularly important holiday for Italian Americans who celebrate the legacy of Christopher Columbus and the innovation and explorer zeal that he represented.
In other words, we're calling it Columbus Day.
Yes. And he was considered a pedophile and a sex trafficker. Some of the originals. You understand? This is making America great again, y'all. This is what they have always planned for making America great again. It's just that the other people didn't really understand what that really was. That they was all excited about it. It had everything to do with stealing of land, creating wars, stealing money, and illing the originals. That's what we are seeing. So it's not that that's my interpretation. That is exactly what we are seeing. Stay woke, T-sippers. Hold on. Oh, I hope that other one I was looking at come back to me once I get some juice. Hold on. Let me get over here. Okay, y'all, I need 30 likes. This is going to be my last time saying it. I promise I'm not going to say it anymore. I got a whole bunch of other stuff I could cover. And do.
3 Qatari diplomats were killed and 2 others injured in a tragic car accident in the Egyptian city of Sharm el-Sheikh on Sunday, October 12, 2025. 3 Qatari diplomats were killed and 2 others injured in a tragic car accident in the Egyptian city of Sharm el-Sheikh on Sunday, October 12, 2025. The incident occurred ahead of an international summit on peace in Gaza. According to Egyptian media, 5 Qatari citizens and an Egyptian driver were in the vehicle when the accident occurred. The driver allegedly lost control, causing the vehicle to roll over. The 3 deceased were immediately taken to the morgue at Sharm el-Sheikh International Hospital, while the 2 injured are currently in intensive care. The Qatari embassy in Cairo expressed its deepest condolences for the incident. The bodies of the victims and the 2 injured are scheduled to be flown to Doha on a special Qatari aircraft. The accident occurred just 1 day before the International Gaza Summit, which will be held in Sharm el-Sheikh on Monday, October 13. The meeting will be chaired by Egyptian President Abdul Fattah el-Sisi and U.S. President Donald Trump, and attended by more than 20 countries. The summit aims to end the war in the Gaza Strip and strengthen regional stability. Qatar, along with Egypt and the United States, is a key party in the ceasefire negotiations that have been ongoing for the past several months. Here.
Israel's government has approved the first phase of the Gaza ceasefire deal that includes a pause in Israeli attacks and the release of the remaining hostages held by Hamas in exchange for Palestinians detained in Israeli prisons. President Trump announced yesterday the Israeli hostages will be released from Gaza on Monday or Tuesday as he plans to travel to the Middle East. According to the deal, 250 Palestinian prisoners serving life sentences and another 1,700 people from Gaza detained in the last 2 years would be released. Hamas has demanded the release of prominent Palestinian political prisoner Marwan Barghouti, but his name was reportedly secretly removed from the prisoner exchange list by Israel. Meanwhile, the U.S. is sending about 200 troops to Israel to monitor the ceasefire deal. The Israeli military Friday confirmed the ceasefire had come into effect as soldiers retreated from parts of Gaza. Tens of thousands of Palestinians, including families that had been forced to the south, began their trek back to northern Gaza after news that Israeli forces were withdrawing. Returning Gaza City residents made their way through mounds of rubble and destroyed neighborhoods, searching for any sign of their homes and belongings, among them Hida Haraz.
I came since the morning when they said there was a withdrawal to find my home. I'm walking in the street, but I do not know where to go due to the extent of the destruction. I swear I don't know where the crossroads is or where my home is. I know that my home was leveled, but where is it? Where is it? I cannot find it. What is this? What do we do with our lives? Where should we live? Where should we stay? A house of multiple floors, but nothing was left?
Al Jazeera reports Israel's army said it would allow 600 humanitarian aid trucks carrying food, medical supplies, fuel, and other necessities daily into Gaza through coordination with the United Nations and other international groups. On Thursday, the exiled Hamas Gaza chief, Khalil al-Hayya, declared an end to the war.
Today we announce that we have reached an agreement to end the war and aggression against our people and to begin implementing a permanent ceasefire. The withdrawal of the occupation forces.
I need 30 likes. ASAP. Double tap the face of your phone. Just like that. Or hit the thumbs up. Or hit the 3 dots at the top right. I need them like very, very quick. It's free. Don't cost you nothing to tap the face of your phone. The House just dropped Epstein stocks. What day was this? Come on. The quicker we get them, the quicker I can start back up. I got so much to talk about. And so I can, it's another one set. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, what is it saying? And when we say Epstein friends are building our future credit scores, we aren't exaggerating because they are part of the banks. Okay, so the House just dropped Epstein stock showing Peter Thiel was scheduled for launch with Epstein in 2017, years after he became a registered ex-offender. When we say Epstein's friends are building, okay, and okay, the mega thinks the threat to America is AunTeaFee or MS-13, which is Venezuela, which he let them people go back. He made a deal with them people, immigrants, radical lefts, drag queens, George Soros, and woke college kids. Interesting. So that was Charlie Kirk's responsibility. It says MAGA thinks the threat to America is all of that other stuff. And then it says woke college kids. Wow. Interesting. Let's go.
Entry of aid, the opening of the Rafah crossing in both directions, and the exchange of prisoners. Today we announce that we have reached an agreement to end the war and aggression against our people and to begin implementing a permanent ceasefire, the withdrawal of the occupation forces, the entry of aid, the opening of the Rafah crossing in both directions, and the exchange of prisoners.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spoke today in Israel.
Today we mark one of the greatest achievements in the War of Revival, the return of all of our hostages, the living and the dead as one. This way we grapple Hamas. We grapple it all around, ahead of the next stages of the plan, in which Hamas is disarmed and Gaza is demilitarized. If this can be achieved the easy way, very well. If not, it will be achieved the hard way.
In the United States, President Trump hailed his administration's ceasefire plan during a cabinet meeting Thursday as concerns mount regarding potential U.S. and foreign intervention in the rebuilding of Gaza.
Gaza is going to be slowly redone. You have tremendous wealth in that part of the world by certain countries, and just a small part of that, what they make will do wonders for Gaza.
For more, we're joined by two guests. In Haifa, ENROUTE2, Palestinian human rights attorney, former advisor to the negotiating team of the Palestine Liberation Organization. She's just recently written a piece for The Guardian. It's headlined, "A Magic Pill Made Israeli Violence Invisible. We Need to Stop Swallowing It." And Amjad Iraqi is a senior Israel-Palestine analyst at the International Crisis Group, joining us from London. We welcome you both to Democracy Now! ENROUTE2, let's begin with you. First, your response to this ceasefire hostage deal that's just been approved by the Israeli government and Hamas.
Well, first, Amy, it's really quite repulsive that Palestinians have had to negotiate an end to their genocide. It should have been that the world put sanctions on Israel to stop the genocide, rather than forcing Palestinians to negotiate an end to it. At the same time, we're also negotiating an end to the famine, a famine that Israel, again, created. Who are we negotiating with? The very people who created that famine. And so it's really repugnant that this is the position that Palestinians have been forced to be in. And so while people here are elated, happy, that the bombs have stopped, we're also at the same time worried because we've seen that the international community time and again has abandoned us. Everybody is happy that the Israelis are going home, but nobody's talking about the more than 11,000 Palestinians who are currently languishing in Israeli prisons, being starved, being tortured, being raped. Many of them are hostages picked up after October of 2023, being held without charge, without trial, and nobody at all is talking about them. So while people are happy that the bombs have stopped, we know that Israel's control has not at all stopped, and Israel's made it clear that it's going to continue to control every morsel of food that comes into Gaza. It's going to control every single construction item that comes into Gaza, and it's going to continue to maintain a military occupation over Gaza. This is not a peace agreement. This is not an end to the occupation, and I think it's so important for us that we keep our eyes on Gaza and start demanding that Israel be held to account, not only for the genocide, but for all of these decades of occupation that led to this in the first place.
Can you talk about the exchange of hostages, Israeli hostages, dead and alive, and Palestinian prisoners? According to the Hamas Gaza chief, I believe they're saying all women and children, Palestinian women and children picked up over these last 2 years, or is it beyond, are going to be released? And then, of course, there are well over 1,000 prisoners who are going to be released.
No, not quite. So there are 250 who are political prisoners who are going to be released, and that list just came out about a little over an hour ago. But there are also 1,700. So there are 250 who are political prisoners who are going to be released, and that list just came out about a little over an hour ago. But there are also 1,700 Palestinians solely from Gaza who are going to be released. And these were people, these are doctors, these are nurses, these are journalists, and so on, who Israel picked up after the 7th of October 2023 and has been holding as hostages. These are the people that are going to be released. There are still thousands more, Amy, that are from the West Bank that we do not know what is going to happen to them. And so while the focus is just on the people in Gaza, and again, there is no path for freeing all of those thousands of Palestinians who are languishing in Israeli prisons, being starved, being tortured, being raped. What's going to happen to them? Who's going to be focusing on them? I don't think that it's going to be this U.S. administration.
I want to talk about the West Bank in a minute. More than 1,000 Palestinians have been killed in the West Bank just over the last 2 years. But I first want to get Amjad Araki's response to this deal that has now been signed off on. Watching the images of tens of thousands, this sea of humanity, of Palestinians going south to north, to see what they can find of their homes in places like Gaza City, not to mention who's trapped in the rubble. We say something well over 60,000 Palestinians have been killed, but we don't know the real number. It could be hundreds of thousands.
Indeed, Amy, and to kind of continue off of Diana's points, this is a deal that really should have been made long, long ago. We've known that the parameters of this truce have been on the table for well over a year, if not since the very beginning of the war, what they used to define as an all-for-all deal. The idea that Hamas would release all hostages in exchange for a permanent ceasefire. And the reasons for the constant foiling of it are quite evident. And it's important to recognize this, not for the sake of just lamenting the many lives that have been lost and the massive destruction that could have been averted, but it needs to really inform the next steps going forward. The biggest takeaway of what's happening right now is that in order for a ceasefire to be sustained, in order for Gaza to be saved from further military assault, you need massive political pressure. And we've seen this really build up in the past weeks and months. You saw this, for example, from European governments, which, even through the symbolic recognition of Palestinian statehood, was very much venting their frustration with Israeli conduct in the war. The fact that the EU was actually starting to contemplate more sort of punitive measures against Israel, such as partial trade suspensions, potential sanctions against Israel. We saw this building up over the past few weeks. Arab states have started to use much of their leverage, especially after Israel's strike on Doha, or Hamas's offices in Doha. We started seeing Gulf and other Arab and Muslim states come over the past few weeks. Arab states have started to use much of their leverage, especially after Israel's strike on Doha, or Hamas's offices in Doha. We started seeing Gulf and other Arab and Muslim states come forward to President Trump at the UN, saying that Israeli aggression cannot continue like this. And most crucially is, of course, President Trump himself, and of Washington finally saying that it needs to put its foot down to stop this war, which we've heard repeatedly from Trump himself, but this is really the first time since the January ceasefire agreement where Trump has really insisted that this come to an end. Now, there's not much to be sort of debated about the Trump plan itself, but this aspect of the truce cannot continue, and it certainly cannot save Palestinian lives unless that pressure is maintained. The concern now is that that pressure will recede or alleviate because there's now a deal that's signed. But actually, in order to enforce it, that pressure really needs to be maintained.
What do you think was the turning point, Amjad? The bombing of Qatar? Now, I mean, the New York Times had an expose that Trump knew before, not just in the midst of the bombing, that Israel was bombing their ally to try to kill the Hamas leadership. But do you think that was the turning point?
certainly might have expedited, I think, a lot of factors that were already building up. As I said, pressure had been mounting against Israel for quite a while. There was really outrage, not just at the continuance of the military assaults, but the policy of starvation, which was very evident on the ground, and Israel's complete refusal to let in aid, its failed project with the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. So this had all been building, but I do think the strike on Doha really pushed Arab states to say that enough is enough. To see them really meet all together with President Trump and create a bit more of a united position to insist that this really couldn't go on, I think has really signaled that Israel really crossed a certain line geopolitically. Now, of course, that line should have been recognized as being crossed well before because of the facts on the ground in Gaza. But I do think that this has helped to kind of push things over the edge a bit more assertively. There are also speculations about Trump, of course, trying to have his name in for the Nobel Peace Prize and potentially other factors. But I do think that the timing of this, again, regardless of what ended up pushing it over the line, it is unfortunate that it's really taken this long. And it's really up to global powers and foreign governments to recognize that in order to make sure that this stays, that they really need to keep that pressure up.
And Amjad Araki, the core demand of the ceasefire is that Hamas disarm and end its rule. What security guarantees is Hamas seeking for its own members to lay down their arms and not face a wave of arrests or assassinations? How is this going to work? And talk about who you see running Gaza.
So these things are still a bit unclear. So throughout the ceasefire talks, Hamas has kept insisting
It's unclear.
about the U.S. guarantees that Israel will not end the war. But there's never really any clear, concrete way to prove this. And as we've seen before, like in the January ceasefire deal, and in much of the ceasefire talks, even if President Trump expresses his desire to see an end to the war, oftentimes he would still hand the steering wheel to Prime Minister Netanyahu. And if Netanyahu decided that he wanted to thwart the ceasefire talks, if he wanted to relaunch military assaults, and the Israeli military and the government would back it, then Trump and Washington would fall into line and amplify those calls, and even President Trump himself would sort of cheer on the military assaults. And so this factor has certainly weighed a lot on Hamas, but I do think there's a combination of pressure, the fact that Arab states have insisted on Hamas to try to show, at least signal, certain flexibility, even though many of its demands have been quite consistent throughout the war. But the fact that I think Hamas is now feeling that there's also a bit more pressure on Israel to actually ensure that they at least try to take the gamble that they will not return to war. And in regards to decommissioning and disarmament, publicly Hamas has placed a red line around this right to bear arms. But historically and even recently, they do say that they are willing to have conversations about decommissioning as long as it's tied to a political framework, especially one that's tied to the establishment of a Palestinian state. Now, one can really debate how much this process is actually quite feasible, and obviously the Israeli government and much of the Israeli public is quite adamant in its opposition against Palestinian statehood, but Hamas may at least offer some space for those conversations to be had. There are discussions about it potentially giving up what it might describe as its larger or more offensive weaponry, like rockets or anti-tank missiles. And there are bigger questions around firearms, but I think it's important to put this question not as a black and white issue, as something that has to come first in the political process, as Israel is demanding, but one that requires trust building and confidence building in the rubric of a process of Palestinian self-determination. This is important not just in the case of Palestine, but across many conflicts around the world where the question of decommissioning, about establishing one rule, one gun, one government for a society requires that kind of process. So it shouldn't just be a policy of destroying and military assaults and so on. You do need to engage in these questions in good faith.
There's so many questions, Lled, and this first stage of the ceasefire hostage deal is really the only one that Netanyahu addressed today in his speech. You're usually in Ramallah. You spend a lot of time on the West Bank. Where does this leave the Palestinian Authority? I don't think the West Bank is talked about in this deal. And what about the fact that we're looking at pictures of Netanyahu surrounded by Steve Witkoff on one side and Jared Kushner, who has talked about, as we know, famously referred to Gaza as very valuable waterfront property?
Yep, Trump Towers.
Well, I think that this plan was really an Israeli plan
and it was repackaged and branded as a Trump plan. And you can see just in the text
Trump
of it,
calls
the
them,
way that all of the
oh, hold
guarantees
on.
were given to the Israelis and none given to the Palestinians. It's really an Israeli plan. But beyond that, it's important to keep in mind that when Trump was going around and talking about this plan, that he consulted with everybody but Palestinians. He didn't talk to Mahmoud Abbas. He didn't even let Mahmoud Abbas go to the UN to deliver his speech before the UN. I'm pretty certain he didn't speak to the UN representative, Palestine's representative to the UN. And so this is once again, we've got a plan in which people are talking about Palestinians, but never talking to Palestinians. So again, this is very much an Israeli plan repackaged as a Trump plan and branded as a Trump plan. In terms of them looking at Gaza as being prime real estate, this is not at all different from the way that they've done it in the past. And this is not at all the way that Israel has looked at Palestine. And this is because this is the way that colonizers look at land that isn't theirs. They ignore the history of the place. Gaza has an old history. It has some of the oldest churches, I think the second oldest church in the world. It has some of the oldest mosques. It has an old civilization. We want Gaza to be Gaza. We don't want it to be Dubai or any other place. We want it to be Gaza. And so the idea of somehow turning it into prime real estate, this is the mentality of somebody who's coming from outside. This is the way that colonizers think. This isn't the way that the indigenous think. And so you can see in this plan that it's not only the idea of the outside coming in, but they certainly didn't consult Palestinians at all. As for what's going to happen to the Palestinian Authority, it's clear that they don't want the Palestinian Authority in the Gaza Strip. And it's clear that they do want to have a foreign authority in the Gaza Strip. But once again, Amy, when is it that Palestinians get to decide our own future? Are we really going back to the era of colonialism when other people get to decide our future? And that's what this plan is really all about.
Well, we're going to be continuing to cover this story. President Trump is expected to be there for the signing of the ceasefire in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt on Sunday. And the hostages and prisoners are expected to be released on Monday or Tuesday. Diana Boutou, I want to thank you for being with us, Palestinian human rights attorney, former advisor to the negotiating team of the Palestine Liberation Organization.
The United States, it should be more unified in the way, on the critical side, you know, his opponents say, ever since he won back power, having indicated there'd be no revenge attacks.
Since I'm having a hard time getting y'all to hit the like button, this is going to be
James
it.
Comey, to others. And when he stood up at Charlie Kirk's memorial, after that incredibly moving speech, of course, by Charlie Kirk's widow, you know, he was very honest. He said, look, I don't think I could be like that with my enemies. I hate them. And people say, if he's president of the United States, he should be more unified in the way he speaks about people.
So that was Eric Trump, one of Donald Trump's sons, being confronted by Piers Morgan about his father's vengeance streak and his lack of unifying effort as president of the United States. And between this appearance on Piers Morgan, as well as an interview.
Oh my goodness. Okay, let me go to this over here. Maybe it's telling me they not hitting the like button, AunTeaFee. You need to, maybe that's what it's telling me. I'm not sure. What y'all think? Is that what it's telling me? Y'all having a hard time hitting that like button? So I need to just go ahead and end it right about now. Since they don't want to act right with you, you should not want to act right with them. You got them way too spoiled. They don't feel like they need to or have to support your platform. Who's sick, M. Stone? Bye. Oh, you was over here trolling. Bye. Go on. Shoot fly, don't bother us. We don't need you over here. Bye. I wasn't paying no attention to you. See how that worked? I wasn't paying you no mind. You was probably stealing. Was you stealing? Trying to get people to go someplace else? That's what I call stealing. Yeah. You know what side you from. Y'all better double tap the screen. Real quick, fast, in a hurry. Okay, now where was that? They done went over there and assassinated them men. What's she saying here?
Christians, good people like that, are making the case that Jesus wants more bombing.
Oh, no, no.
Is that?
That's that fake Israel stuff. That's that fake Israel. Fake Israel. Lord God, I don't want to say strike them down, but be not deceived, Christian people.
So that was Eric Trump, one of Donald Trump's sons, being confronted by Piers Morgan about his father's...
This is going to be my last time telling y'all to hit the like button.
...unifying effort as President of the United States. And between this appearance on Piers Morgan, as well as an interview with Chris Cuomo of News Nation, Eric Trump was triggered into a series of meltdowns last week that further
just like his daddy
him and his father and expose how vengeful and corrupt Donald Trump really is. And we have to talk about it. But before we do, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells.
Missouri probably just did the coolest thing.
I did. I hit the like button for you, sir.
Home in Missouri and
I know how important it is.
All right, friends, so as you know, Piers Morgan professes to be a nonpartisan journalist, but he tends to grade Donald Trump, MAGA, and the Trump family on a curve when it comes to revenge and corruption and all sorts of unethical...
But one thing I will say, with everything that's going on, although they really did not want to, let me say this. They have been forced to face reality, face the truth, and call it for what it is. Now, they didn't want to. They wanted to be loyal to the right and MAGA. They really wanted to believe in this making America great again, but they didn't realize that there was deals on top of deals on top of deals. Trump made deals with everybody. See, this was supposed to go down his first go around with the second term when he lost. That's why he incited that insurrection on the 6th, trying to force his way. You understand? It was supposed to go down on that second term. That's when it really started. But he couldn't pull his weight. So now they got it rigged all over the place. So now they are forced to see it and acknowledge it. Because even what was presented to them, for them to be on board with overlooking, no, you tell your mama to speak. That's what you do, Paul. You tell that to your mangy, mud-faced mama. Don't come over here telling me anything. You understand? Do you understand? You respect my platform, fool. Get your ass up out of here. Bye, Paul. Did you understand that? Did you understand that? Paul? Rugrat Reed? Did you understand that? You don't like the truth, so you one of them. Yeah. Like I said, they don't want to see it for what it is, but they are being forced to. Because it's all over the place and it's constantly being exposed. And what deal they thought they had, they finding out that there was other deals. It's to the highest bidder. They are just accepting bids all over the place.
Otherwise, he'd be forced to admit that pretty much every
That's why it's
Democrat
crumbling.
in the country is morally superior to Trump. But every now and then, Piers Morgan will ask
your ass up out of here.
question of Trump or criticize Trump. And so I want you to hear how Eric Trump responds to this, because he doesn't handle it well. And
he a basket case as well.
Recent appearance as well on Chris Cuomo's show.
He shouldn't say he hates his opponents. He should try and bring people together. He shouldn't be waging revenge against people like Comey and others. He should move above that. What do you say to that?
So he came back into office just on revenge. And he mad because he got busted with his daddy the first go round. Yeah. And it ain't going y'all way. And then maybe he didn't know that they was going to take his buddy out. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't know. But the reality of it is that there's still an Epstein file that needs to come on out and nip some of this in the bud. And Charlie Kirk was taken out by his own. Oh, so once he denounced pro-Israel, he wasn't y'all own no more. Oh, so he was Benedict Arnold. He was a traitor. Oh, okay. So he really wasn't one of y'all's at that point. Oh. Well, did you know they was going to set him up to be on a live? Was you a part of that meeting, Eric? Yeah, it remains to be seen. Let's go.
They raided our home.
Absolutely.
They destroyed him. They, Pierce, you know, they're just honest.
Absolutely. Y'all were crooked. Absolutely. You're not exempt. You feel entitled to steal. You feel entitled to steal. And shame on the people who voted on him with 34 felonies. Who else would you vote for with 34 felonies? Everybody from the hood need to apply to be the president. Everybody from the hood. Put your bid in. Because that's the only place you can go and make a whole bunch of money. Get in there and steal. And lie. And everything. And still get paid. Everybody in the hood. All the gangsters. Because this is all the Trump family is, in my opinion. They are a family full of gangsters. Thugs and thieves.
Anybody just send that book to those people who make that argument? You can't. They took my father off the ballot in Colorado.
Absolutely.
They tried to subvert democracy. I was the one, Piers, that got the call from the FBI and the New York
So you
Times
just repeating the same story over and over.
You have a secret server in the basement of Trump Tower in New York City communicating directly with the Kremlin in Russia. We didn't know anybody in Russia. It was all made up lies.
Man, quit lying.
They made up a dossier that had my father apparently doing.
So how you gonna say you didn't know nobody in Russia? Oh my God. Oh.
The most most unthinkable, nasty, grotesque, crude things that you could imagine,
Hey, Elizabeth.
paid for by Hillary Clinton and perpetrated by the FBI and the DOJ in this country. They tried to destroy him. They tried to imprison him. They tried to bankrupt him. They rigged more things than you can possibly imagine. And so when James Comey very apparently goes and lies to Ted Cruz in a congressional hearing, an FBI director who, by the way, was leaking memos to the New York Times. I mean, I want our FBI directors in this country to make sure planes aren't crashing into buildings, to make sure. I mean, I don't know if I were Eric Trump that I would bring up planes crashing, because we had a spate of plane crashes when Donald Trump first took office.
Absolutely, he don't remember that.
FAA and accused airline traffic controllers and air pilots as being.
It's always somebody else's fault under somebody else's.
Trump is triggered here. How dare you ask me that question? Donald Trump is entitled to revenge. He's entitled to hate half this country because they tried to bankrupt him. So let's unpack all of this. So number one, Russiagate.
With YouTube Music Premium, listen to your favorite songs ad-free.
I can't process people that lie to themselves.
Russiagate was a hoax. There were multiple convictions that resulted from Russiagate. Robert Mueller successfully convicted multiple members of the Trump administration and Trump campaign, number one. Number two, there was also credible elements or allegations and evidence from the Mueller investigation that Donald Trump tried to obstruct justice during the course of that investigation. Mueller did not bring charges against Trump because the Justice Department has a policy going back to the age of President Nixon that you can't indict a sitting president. That's the only thing that protected Trump from Russiagate prosecutions. Number three, we do know that Russia attempted to intervene in the 2016 election for Donald Trump's benefit. Number four, Donald Trump publicly asked for Russia during the 2016 campaign for Russia to hack the DNC and Hillary Clinton's emails, which is what they did. So even if he was just talking out of his ass, he publicly indicated a preference and Russia obliged. That's bad for Trump. Number six, Donald Trump was prosecuted by indicted by grand juries, which they're now saying, well, if a grand jury indicts you, that's okay. A grand jury indicted Letitia James and James Comey, so that counts. Well, grand juries indicted your father, Eric, so by your own logic, Donald Trump was justifiably indicted.
Right,
okay?
and found
guilty. He was
guilty.
also convicted of 34 felony counts in New York. So again, by your logic, Eric, then Donald Trump, your father, is objectively a criminal, and you shouldn't bitch about it. Letitia James is a New York Attorney General, and she successfully prosecuted your father. She successfully sued your father. Again, it sounds like your issue is with the Justice Department, but you were complaining about that this entire time. And so instead of denying what Piers is saying, or instead of saying, well, no, my father, of course, doesn't hate half this country, what Eric is saying in this emotional rant is that Donald Trump, the sitting president, is entitled to hate half this country. He's entitled to be disunifying. He's
and bring up bogus charges.
Seek revenge, even though he said he was going to seek revenge. Then when press said, okay, I'm not going to seek revenge, of course not. Then he does what he originally said he would do after lying about it, after taking pressure. Eric Trump has no cogent defense of this other than just this vicious rant of, we get to seek our revenge. We get to hurt people we don't like because they tried to hurt us, whatever the hell that means. It's pretty embarrassing, and good on Piers for asking the question. I wish he would have been a bit more relentless, which as the
they scared of them folks. They get in their face.
Content to just let it go. Eric Trump goes on this rant, and then Piers moves on. That's not how Piers would handle it if it were
somebody
Obama
else,
or a Clinton or a Biden. But again, this just goes to show he grades Trump on a curve. But kudos for him asking this in the first place. Last week was just not a good week for Eric Trump, though, in general.
Oh, yeah. That's it, y'all. I'll be back. For the people who want to hit the like button, I'll be back. What time is it? Around 7. Let me get my phone out of the charge. Only come back if you want to hit the like button. If you have a problem hitting the like button, let me be clear. I mean, I want to be clear. The clearest. I mean, make no mistake about it. If you have a problem hitting the like button, don't come back. When I go live, just go someplace else. If you one of the ones where I just want to, that's crazy. Go somewhere else. If you have a problem hitting the like button, supporting the platform, super chat, super sticker, cash app, go somewhere else. I don't mind. You don't even have to tell me. Don't send me a message saying I don't think that that's polite. I'm not trying to be polite. You're not trying to hit the like button. I'm not trying to be polite. Who said I was trying to be polite? Are you I'm looking straight ahead. So imagine me looking you dead in your eyes. Hey, Cooley. Thank you for the floating hearts. I'm sorry you catching me on the end. Yeah. Thank you, Precious. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. I'm going in around 7:30 because they playing in our face with these foreign countries, with these plots and Gates. Bill Gates is over in Africa trying to put chips in babies' arms and shit. Did we know that? Tracking devices, trying to get them to buy into something he's selling in Africa. Trump over here messing with the Indians and the origin and the original people. He declaring something for them, messing with the indigenous people. Y'all better, all them special, he done signed something and it clicked out. I'm gonna have to find it. Why you come back? I thought I blocked you. Why you keep coming back if you think I'm insane? Why you keep coming back, M Stone? You just want my attention. Why? Why do you want my attention? If I removed you, why come back on another page? That means you're a fan. That means you're infatuated. That means you can't get enough and you don't want me to tell the people the truth. So let me go over and distract her. I mean, I really want to hear what she has to say. Get your ass out of here again. You said big note to that. AIID mark of the listen. They're over there in Africa, right? Bill Gates. If this thing would stop. But y'all not hitting my like button. So it's some stuff I just don't even feel like I need to bring forward because y'all not respecting the facts and the research that I put in. As if I don't have nothing else to do. Like I don't, you know. Yeah, but he was over in Africa. I marked it somewhere. Putting it in the baby's arms. I said, Lord, Lord, Lord. Lord, Lord, Lord. So on one end of the spectrum, you got a fake Israeli trying to represent like he in the Bible. Like we Christians are supposed to go along with him because it's in the Bible. So they just playing. They just playing. All of that stuff we've seen previously that I brought forth to the tea-sippers that obviously M. Stone don't want me to discuss again. Wrong answer. When Trump was saying, I'm not Christian, but I need you to vote. I really, really need you to vote. I need you to get out and vote. This will be the last time. Yeah. And guess what? They justified the criminal being reelected. Or maybe M. Stone didn't like when I say all the thugs need to go and apply. Everybody that got multiple felons, a long rap sheet that they've been convicted felons need to go and apply. Yeah, okay, elephant room, baby, y'all can't get enough. Woo, they don't like this truth coming out, y'all. Woo, that M Stone can't get enough. Elephant in the room. Well, why you keep coming back? Let me talk to my tea sippers. What difference does it make? If you don't like what I'm saying, then leave. I mean, what's the problem? Who is forcing you? Huh? M Stone, Elephant Man? What is wrong with you? Yeah, you one of them people. You can't accept, that you being rejected, you being removed. Are you Eric or somebody? I mean, y'all have a problem with that. Y'all cannot accept when somebody tell you no. When somebody say, I see you for who you really are. And you are a deceiver, manipulator, conniving, thief. With 30 and a pedo. You put your hands in your pallet worker in places without permission. You force yourself. But hell, all these countries and shit where you be doing all these deals, that's what they do. Oh, but I forgot. Y'all are immigrants. You're descendants of immigrants. You are what you despise. How dare you? Put your own ass out this country first. Be an example. Why? Huh? Be an example of the laws that you want to implement. It don't apply to you. It don't apply to you. Why? Oh, you really wasn't an immigrant, a descendant of immigrants. Oh, your situation was a little different. M Stone, you just can't help yourself, can you? You hate to be rejected, don't you? I don't care how many times you pop up in here. That's how many times I'm going to get your ass up out of here. You hate to be rejected. You just like Eric and just like his daddy. You have an insecurity problem. Your mama and daddy didn't really like you, did you? You wasn't the chosen one. You a middle child or something? Huh? Yeah. You ain't had no friend. There ain't nobody like you. Yeah. You was an introvert as a kid. You really didn't have no. Yeah. So you want revenge too. You gonna make me read you. You gonna make me. Yeah. No. I sure am not. You are just like them. You're in denial. And you are a part of it. Like I said, everybody, all the thugs, gangsters, mobsters, robbers and thieves, pedos, molesters, all of them who can't keep their pallywhacking hands and shit to themselves. Yeah, they can't get a woman because they got good sex. So they got to just force that old nasty, non-moving, just trifling pallywhacker on somebody because a real woman don't want it. So that's how I feel. Anybody got to take it, that's because a real woman don't want it. Or hell, maybe a man, I don't know what you're into, but they don't want it. Yeah, they can't want it enough that they request it. Yeah, maybe y'all didn't know that. So that's why y'all have to force it on people. Steal it and take it. Yeah. Real women, yeah, if it's good, you will know it. You understand? So as far as I'm concerned, all of y'all got, yeah, that nasty snake disease. Don't nobody want that shit. So now use a pedo. Yeah. Okay, good people. I had to get that on off because Oh, Stone. He done made 4 or 5 accounts, or he already have them, trying to force himself on me. Did you hit the like button every time you came in, M. Stone? Huh? Did you hit the like button? Next time, send a cash out. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, T-Sippers. I'll be back. Listen, if you don't want to hit the like button, do not come back. You can hit whichever one you want to hit. I don't care. I am the man. You the piece of shit that don't nobody want. Hi, Bernice. Yeah. Now that's your mama is the beat. Woo, him mad. Woo, him downstairs is mad, baby. Him downstairs is mad, man. You mad? You big mad, little mad. Hey. Him big mad, y'all. Yeah, he wanted them. He wanted them. How dare you tell everybody that I don't have good dingling? How dare you tell everybody that I'm insecure and I'm ugly and real women don't like me. They ignore me. Yeah, that's why I have to take it, because they ignore me. They don't give me a chance. Exactly. You are overlooked. You are the weakest link. Okay. Next time, play safe. Don't come over here playing with me. I said I was up all night. I ain't getting no. I did get some sleep though. I did get some sleep. I ain't wake up until like almost 12. Yeah, but it don't matter. Play with somebody safe. Y'all, I'll be back. I'll be back. There's a lot going on in these foreign countries. And oh yeah, by the time I get back, I will have found that one. I gotta, where old Bill Gates is over there. I'm looking as I go. Putting tracking devices in the people. I'm trying to. Okay, I'll be back. I had explore the world. Oh no, that one ain't it. Okay, I'll be back. Come, hitting the like button. He better ask somebody before he tries it. Yeah, oh, I'm sorry. I meant to call out my Mo3 people. Shout out to them. My name came up a couple of times yesterday in the Mo3 sector. And Laquita name was brought up. And I was able to hear. Now, shout out to Max. Y'all know Max always is my girl. She always come through. Max, a self-made, illest. Who else comes through? But who I didn't know follows me. Chanel. Shout out to Chanel. She let me know that she be in the bushes. So shout out to Chanel, Mo3 sector. Shout out to Isha Giles. Shout out to Isha. She said she didn't know Laquita. She says she follows AunTeaFee. So shout out to the Mo3 sector that follows AunTeaFee over here. I greatly appreciate it. Whether you come down or not. What's my girl? Payday. Shout out to Payday. Shout out to the Mo3 sector who be in my bushes and don't pop out. I hope y'all hitting the like button. But shout out to you, and then double shout out to the ones who ain't afraid to say it out on other people's platforms that they rock with AunTeaFee. I greatly appreciate it. I greatly appreciate it. So shout out to the ones in the Mo 3 sector that's in the bushes, and double shout out, knuckle dap to the ones that will say it on platforms. I greatly appreciate it. Mwah. Y'all have a good one. I'll be back.